over the past few months, I've gotten 3 or 4 comments from people asking, does it feel like to have cerebral palsy? It's really hard to explain because there's psychological factors, there's physical factors, and there's emotional factors. The psychological and emotional I've kind of learned to deal with, and they're really not, they really don't affect me much because I've learned to deal with the way I am. And psychologically and emotionally, they really aren't, having cerebral palsy really doesn't affect me anymore. So sometimes if you are more emotional or you get affected psychologically easily, you might notice, if you walk in public, people staring, maybe even laughing, especially your younger years when you're in school. You'll probably notice that more, and when you get older, you don't notice as much, and you kind of learn to deal with it too, even if it happens. So that doesn't really bother me anymore, but it still does happen. And physically, I would say that's kind of the most painful thing there is with cerebral palsy is physical pain. That's the most pain I go through with cerebral palsy is the physical part. Fortunately for me, I don't go through it every day, all day. I really admire people who walk all day and have cerebral palsy, but there's a lot of other jobs you can do. Unfortunately, I have a good job where I don't have to walk, and I can do just fine. I can do the job without accommodations, and I do very well at it. So I'm glad to not have to walk all day. Basically, I'll walk to my car, to the bathroom to get something to eat, to make copies or fax some papers over. That's the extended period of walking that I'll have to do in my day. And if I had to walk all day, I would go through pain. But I'm gonna try to kind of use an analogy, like you're walking, you have like an hour hike with a large group of people, and you broke your leg. That's kind of how it feels like, when you have cerebral palsy. It's just kind of you want to get up and you want to walk with everyone else, but it's you're gonna move slower just because you broke your leg. With cerebral palsy, you don't break your leg, but you could break your leg, but you just walk slower than everyone else, and it's just something you learn to deal with. So you're on this hike and 15 minutes goes by, people are moving faster, and the pack gets further and further ahead. And it's just, it might be a little frustrating, but it's something you learn with cerebral palsy. But, I probably move at the same pace as somebody with crutches would. So that's why I'm using this analogy. 30 minutes goes by, you might start feeling pain. With cerebral palsy, I would say definitely after 30 minutes, you start feeling physical pain. You can walk all day, but the more you walk, the more pain you feel. And it's just you need to sit down, but you can walk all day, but you just feel your body aches. Your body's really starting to ache and feel like it's time to sit down, and you might even sit down because you just don't care about those, the group ahead of you who's moving a lot faster and is not really in pain. And then an hour goes by and they're all back at the campsite, and you're still walking through the woods, and but you're in pain. And then you finally get to the destination, an hour and 30 minutes. I generally don't like to walk for more than an hour, but you finally get to the destination and your feet are kind of throbbing, and for the rest of the day you feel pain and nobody else does, and you don't want to walk around. But when you're on crutches, you're hobbling on one leg, and it's just kind of difficult, and you might trip over something in the woods. That's kind of what it feels like to have cerebral palsy. It's just, you move slower, and you really get used to it, but it still can be frustrating at times, and it still can be challenging to deal with the pain. But fortunately, we do live in a great society, and we have opportunities for people with disabilities to succeed in life rather than just being in physical pain all the time or being a burden to society.